So in the previous class, we start our new chapter using the CSS in the HTML. In that, firstly, we learn the definition of CSS. What is the full form of CSS? It's a cascading style sheets, which is used to arrange, which is used to apply the different style in a one sheet in a sequence. Then we learn features of reasons why we are using the CSS. After it, we learn the CSS syntax. Everyone have to be remember the syntax because it will be asked in the exam. In the syntax, what is the H1? It will be give also another exam. I just give only H1 exam. दूसरा भी example आ सकता है. H1 is called the selector. The attribute you are using, for example, color, font size, font type, that is called the property. And the value you will be put, that is called the value. And it always enclosed in the curly bracket. This is the called the curly bracket. This is the colon, and it will be defined with the, it will be differentiate with the semicolon. Then we learn one CSS example also, which here one example how it will be look whenever you apply the CSS. Now, let's learn the next topic, including the CSS in the HTML. There are the three ways using of that you can include the CSS in your HTML file. First is the inline style. Second is the internal style sheet. And third is the external style sheet. Before starting the topic, I want to ask you, have you heard the word internal and external?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
In the HTML, not another way. In the HTML, have you heard the word internal, external? Anyone on the previous year, have you heard it? Turn on your video and tell me. Have you learned the hyperlink?
Yes, ma'am.
How many types of hyperlink are there? There are the three types of hyperlink. First is the internal hyperlink. Second is the external hyperlink. Third is the image hyperlink. Three links you learn. Can anyone explain me what is the external hyperlink? And which tag is used to enter the hyperlink in your code? Which tag is used for hyperlink? Previous year, that chapter we already learned.
Ma'am, text.
Tag. Which tag is used to insert a hyperlink? What is the name of tag? For example, you want to be add the title, you are using the title tag. If you want to add the heading, you are using the H1 to H6 tags. If you want to add the paragraph, you are using the P tag. So which tag will be used to add the hyperlink?
E.
It's a tag, or you can say the anchor tag also. That's why I told you revise everything that you learn in the class 6 and 7. क्लास 6-7 में जो भी आपने सीखा HTML में सब कुछ रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा. If you know what is the internal hyperlink, what is the external hyperlink, that is easy for you to understood the CSS internal and external. What is the internal hyperlink? That link to in the same web page. If it is linked in the same web page, that is the internal hyperlink. And whenever you click on the link, it will be open the another web page, that is called the external hyperlink. What is the image hyperlink? Whenever you click on the image, if it will be redirected to the another web page, that is called the image hyperlink. Okay, please revise again. I'm requesting revise all the topics, all the text, all the attributes that you learn in the class 6 and 7. जो 6, 7 में सीखा है उसको रिवाइज करो ताकि CSS में आपको प्रॉब्लम ना हो क्योंकि CSS में भी एट्रीब्यूट्स ही यूज होते हैं. So let's learn the first style of CSS, that is the inline style. What is the meaning of inline? Style attributes are added to the ribbon tag itself. आपने जो tag लिखा होगा जैसे आप attribute में करते थे, same thing you have to be apply here. Whenever you are writing the tag and you want to apply the different theme, you are writing the attributes. आपको अगर formatting करना होता था तो आप attributes लिखते थे. Same if you are using the CSS and you want to be writing the inside a tag, that time you have to apply the inline style. Style attribute will have this to be specified for the every tag. So let's see a demo for it. I already opened a one notepad plus plus. First, I increase the size. So it's easy for you. First, write down the code. HTML, tag, title, name of title, CSS, close the title, close the head. Start the body tag. Using the one heading tag for the line style. Close the H1. Using the body tag. Using the HTML. First I saved it, then run it. Write down the name. Style. HTML. I saved it and you can see it is converted to the HTML file as WX. You can see. See, I will be run it. Show the simple output to you. So heading is there and inline style that I write with the heading H1 tag that is also here. Now I want to be add another thing. For example, I am adding the one paragraph. This is simple. CSS technical example. In which we are using a style named inline CSS style. full stop, close the P. That's it. Now, this is the inline, means in a tag you have to apply this style. For that, you have to use a one attribute for the P, name, style. It will be came on the red color. Equals to. For example, if you want a color in the red, so double quote, write down the color, semicolon, use the same syntax, red, double quote. Sorry, I forgot the semicolon. That's it. You have to write down the compulsory word style. आपको style word लिखना पड़ेगा तभी inline style apply होगी. Now I saved it. Go to the back. And pressing the F5, or you can press on the refresh button, so it will be came on the red color. Firstly, I will be remove it and show you what is the output. That F5. Previously, it will be look like in the black color by default, and whenever you apply the style, it will be came on the red color. You can add more attributes. For example, if you want to add the alignment, in the double quote, write down the align equals to, sorry, center, semicolon. Control S, F5. So align is not applied as it's not suitable for the browser. So I removed it. In place of align, for example, if you want to increase the size of font, I will be take the 40 pixel. TX means a pixel. F5. It's not apply. As depend on the browser, it will be show you the output.
Ma'am, you didn't ended it semicolon.
Sorry?
Ma'am, you didn't ended it with semicolon.
Oh, yes. Control S. It's not apply. Depend on the browser. It's totally depend on the browser. आपने अगर कोड राइट लिखा है, आउटपुट नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, इसका मतलब वही होता है कि आपका तो राइट है लेकिन वो ब्राउजर सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा. Output is HTML output is always depend on the browser, not on your code. If you are writing a wrong code, it will be show the error. But if you are write a correct code and not display the output, that is not your fault. That is fault of the browser. As browser is not supported. Sometimes it will be not supported the external style sheet, as it will be happen with me. You can also do for the H1, for example, style equals to color. For example, I'm taking a blue. By default, it's a came in the black color. So color will be changed. Right? This is the first style. Now, second style of CSS. That is the internal style sheet that you have to be write down in the HTML code. तो आप HTML कोड बना रहे हो, इसके अंदर ही आपको लिखनी पड़ेगी CSS. What is the internal style? It's a style sheet. It is defined in the head tag. Remember, whenever you are using the inline, it is defined in the particular tag. Particular जो tag में आपको apply करना है CSS, वहाँ पे आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. But in the internal, which style you want to be applied, all the styles will be written in the head tag. आपको सब कुछ head tag में लिखना पड़ेगा. Of HTML tag inside the style tag. For example, here we are using the word style. But in place of style, you have to use the style tag for the internal style sheet. Here is the one of the example is given. Compulsory whenever you are writing, whenever you are using the internal style sheet, compulsory write down the style space type equals to text CSS, means you are using the CSS. This meaning of text slash CSS is you are using the CSS, you want to be apply the CSS on your code. After it, write down your tag name, curly bracket, whatever you want to be write here, write it down. Everything will be written here. Then close the style, close the head. It is used for the single document which has a unique style. Remember, inline and internal only use for a one document. सिर्फ एक ही document के लिए use होगा. Even inline use only for a tag. Internal is used for the one HTML document, but external is used for the multiple HTML documents. This is the main difference between the three style sheets. Inline is not successful style sheet as it's a confusing, because हम attribute भी तो use करते ही थे. Same हमें style अगर use करनी हो, why we are using the inline. So inline and internal is not suitable for the CSS HTML. External style sheet is the most suitable style sheet for the HTML code. So let's see the demo for the internal style sheet. I am taking another heading, H1. Internal style sheets. Close the H1. Okay, now I am writing one P tag in which I am using the same text but change it. And the P tag, in place of inline, I am using the internal one. As I want to take another HTML file, because what will be happen whenever I am writing the CSS code for the H1, it will also apply in this one. So I am taking another one HTML file. For the inline, and I erase it. इन लोग के लिए मैं different HTML file का use करूंगी. So saved it. In place of normal, click on the hypertext and write down the internal style. Okay. Title I also changed. And saved it and run it once to show you the output. This is our internal style sheet. Okay, now let's start the CSS. What is the given? For whenever you are using the internal CSS, you have to use the style tag in your head tag. Write down the style, opening it and also closing it. Don't be forgot to close it. Now, for example, on the heading, on the H1 tag, you want to apply any style. So for that purpose, first of all, you have to, sorry, I forgot to write here, type equals to text slash CSS. Okay. Now, for example, you want to be add style on the H1. For example, H1, you have to write down in the curly bracket. Now, if you want to change the color, for example, write down the color colon, taking the yellow, semicolon. Only apply on the H1. So see the difference. F5. So color will be changed into the yellow color. Now, if you want to be apply any effect on the P tag, for example, P tag, double quote, curly bracket. Okay, yes, I forgot that in the CSS, you don't use the align, you have to use the margin word. For example, I'm using, by default on the margin left, so you can use the margin right to see the difference. Margin means what? It will be leave the space from the web page. जैसे हम simply text document में करते थे वैसे ही. You can use the left also. It will be leave the space from the left. Margin left, for example, I will be take firstly 50 pixel semicolon. Control S. It's not necessary that you only use one. You can use two also. F5. So it will be leave the space from here. आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे उसने थोड़ी space leave कर दी. पहले क्या था, अब क्या है, मैं थोड़ी extra कर रही हूँ तो आपको एक difference पता चलेगा. Here is written only the right, so it will leave space from right only. Please see the difference. यहाँ पे आप देखना कितनी space है. Whenever I click on the refresh, it will be leave more space. If you want to be take it from both sides, you can add the margin right left also. If you want to leave the space from the both side, semicolon 40 pixel. Sorry, colon then semicolon. Alter tab, refresh, and it will leave the space from the right side also. If you want to change the color of it, write down the color. Red, random color I am taking. Control S, F5, and it will be changed to the red. We are using on not only two tags, we also use a one more tag here. That is the body tag. If you want to apply the CSS on the body tag, so you can write it here. Body, curly bracket. For example, if you want to add any background image, first I'm adding the background color, then we will be, oh, sorry. Then we will apply red and what is the yellow. Okay, taking the blue one. Fine, so it will be converted to the blue color. If you want to be add image, for that purpose you have to use the background image semicolon URL. If both are saved on the same page, sorry, on the same place, write down the direct name of image in the double quote. Wait, I have to check first. It is there. Okay, taking this one image, logo.jpg file. As both are same on the same place. Let's check. Okay, I saved it and F5. So it will be changed. The background, you can choose your choice image. So this is the internal style sheet. जितने text add करोगे उतनी style आप add कर पाओगे. It's not necessary that you can only use one or two texts in your style sheet. Now, time for the last style sheet. That is the external style sheet. You can use a one external style sheet CSS for the different styles, for the different one. For that, what is the meaning of external style sheet? It is separate the file saved with the extension .css in which CSS codes are defined. इसमें आपको क्या करना है? You have to make your HTML code. Simple code. जैसे आप लिखते थे, paragraph लिखा, heading लिखा, everything you have to write down in a HTML code. But you don't have to write down a single word for the CSS. For the CSS, you have to make another file which will have an extension .css. This extension रहेगा .css. A link is created to this file in a web page. What we have to be used, that is also written in the head tag, but you have to just write down link space REL. REL means relative relation. You can say style sheet type equals to text CSS, and href means a link that we are also using the hyperlink. href, then we write down the HTML file name. Style1.css. Here is your CSS name and head close. Many HTML file can be linked to a single CSS file. Same file आप बहुत सारी same CSS file आप बहुत सारी HTML file में apply कर सकते हो with this tag. Global changes can be made by the changing just one file. अगर आप एक CSS file में change करोगे, जितनी HTML file में आपने external CSS को link किया होगा, वो सारी HTML file change हो जाएगी with a one. Now let's say this is one of the example. Okay, now again I'm taking a new file in which remove everything. This is the code. Take a copy of the previous one, nothing else. Okay, so we are learning the external CSS. Write down the heading, external. Now I saved it. Simple HTML file. Write down the name external CSS HTML. Okay, so this become a HTML file. Now I run it. Okay, so this is the simple one. Now we are using the external style. For that purpose, you have to be first make a one another CSS file. आपको दूसरी CSS file बनानी पड़ेगी. So I'm pressing Control N and taking a new file. What should you have to write? Here you have to just write down the styles. For example, हमने H1 का use किया है, paragraph का use किया है. So I'm using here H1 semicolon color red, right? H1 applied. Now how to save it? Press Ctrl S. Of normal file, you can select the cascading style sheet that is available for you.
Ma'am,
It is only available in the Notepad++, not in the Notepad. For that time, you have to write down the extension. This one. Yes.
ma'am, in the previous HTML you have made, ma'am, you have put a picture in the HTML, but ma'am, it gets repeated, ma'am. So can we make a picture in HTML that doesn't get repeated and just stays?
Make a picture. How can we make a picture?
No, ma'am. Yeah, मैम आपने वो जो पिक डाली थी मैम वो पौधा वो लोगो वाली मैम वो बार बार आ रही थी तो मैम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते कि HTML की फाइल में एक ही है वो बार बार वाली नहीं है.
That is depend on the size of file. आपकी जो इमेज की साइज होगी ना उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा. My image is not on longer that is fitted on the web page. So that time you have to choose the image that will be fitted to your web page. Put a once and check it is fitted or not. My file size is too much small. That's why it's not fitted to the screen. इसलिए वो स्क्रीन पे फिट नहीं हुई और बार बार रिपीट हुई. Okay, write down the name style dot CSS. If you are using a Notepad++, you have to be write down the extension dot CSS and saved it. Color will be changed, so it's saved as a CSS file. Now, here you can see in the HTML file, I'm not using a single attribute here. मैंने यहाँ पे कुछ भी use नहीं किया. अभी तक मैंने CSS फाइल को लिंक भी नहीं किया हुआ है. So I will be show you the first demo. Already I showed. So this is the simplest one. Now I'm going to link the CSS file on the head tag. जो हमने CSS फाइल अभी बनाई style.css उसको आपको लिंक करना है कहाँ पे आपकी HTML फाइल में. तो उसके लिए आप क्या लिखोगे LINK link space REL equals to double quote style sheet double quote space type equals to text CSS double quote space HREF equals to. If both are saved on the same place, अगर दोनों same place पे save है तो ही आप डायरेक्ट उसका नेम लिखोगे. Forgot to take a tag. HREF equals to write down the name of file. जैसे मेरी फाइल का नाम है style.css. style.css double quote close the tag. Link space rel equals to style sheet. These two things you have to be write down compulsory, as it is used to insert a file, a CSS file in your web page. That is used to allow insert a CSS file in your web page. First, write down the link space rel means a relation equals to style sheet space type text CSS space href equals to style dot css. This is the name of your file. ये आपकी फाइल का नेम है. मैंने style dot css से सेव किया है, इसलिए मैंने यहाँ पे style dot css लिखा है. If you are writing a one.css, so you have to write here a one.css. Now saved it. And let's check the difference, as we are putting only a one thing for the heading F5. You can see that the heading color will be changed. मैंने कोड में कुछ भी नहीं लिखा, लेकिन मैंने सिर्फ स्टाइल लिंक की हुई है. आप देख सकते हो, ना ही मैंने यहाँ पे एट्रीब्यूट यूज किया है, ना ही मैंने स्टाइल टैग का यूज किया, बट इट विल बी अप्लाइड because I link the CSS file here. Secondly, I'm taking another tag, for example, body, curly bracket, background color, violet, saved it, okay. And show you the difference. F5 background color will be changed in the pink. Next, for example, you are adding more tag. जैसे अभी हमने p tag का भी यूज किया हुआ है. So p curly bracket, and that you are writing your styles. For example, color I will be changed to the blue. Taking a margin also. Margin left 30 pixel and saved it. You can see that is no margin will be here. Refresh, its color is also changed and margin also applied. This is a one web page linked to a one CSS. Now I have a more CSS file. For example, this is the first. You can see here I am also using the H1. I am taking the P also. Okay, I saved it. Okay. I want to show you the output for this. Run in a Chrome. Simply जो हमने पहले बनाया था demo. You can see nothing will be applied here. I'm not using single thing here. But whenever I link the CSS file, this style CSS file to the first .html, it will be directly linked. I'm taking copy of this link relation. So see, as the name are same, and copied here. Now I saved it. Nothing will be applied. Whenever I press F5, everything will be applied. आप देख सकते हो मैंने दूसरी बार कोड नहीं लिखा, ना ही मैंने दूसरी CSS फाइल बनाई. I make only a one CSS and apply to the 2 HTML file. You can apply it to the 3 HTML file, 4 HTML file. Choice is yours. आप कितनी HTML फाइल में अप्लाई करना चाहते हो. You can see here there is a one HR is also there. If you want to add any effect on the HR, you can use here. For example, in the CSS, I am adding the HR also. HR, because in the first I'm using the HR, so size equals to 10 pixel. Oh, sorry. 10. Control S. Let's see the demo. It's supported. Maybe it's by default 10. Sorry, it's not size, it's a width. Width and height are the so width is changed. I want to take the height. In place of 10, I'm putting the 100 and taking the height to the 20 pixel and save it and show you that. Fine. This our HR means a horizontal. If you want to
So,
change
ma'am,
the color, you can.
ma'am, we can link this CSS file with many HTML
Yes,
files,
you can.
then also it will work.
Yes. For example, in the external CSS, you are not using the HR. So HR will not apply here. HR tag में style जो होगी वो apply नहीं होगी. That's it. जो टैग्स आपने लिखे होंगे अगर वो अवेलेबल होते हैं आपके HTML फाइल में तो उस पर आपकी HTML आपकी स्टाइल अप्लाई हो जाएगी. Okay. So here we are learning the including the CSS with use of the 3 style sheets. First is the inline. That is, you have to write down the insider tag, the internal, for which you have to use the style tag in the heading tag. After it, we learn the external CSS that is used to link the CSS file to your HTML. For that, you have to make another CSS file with the extension .css. HTML का extension .html, CSS का extension .css. Remember, for the complex web pages, websites, we are always use this external CSS because वेब पेजेस बहुत सारे होंगे तो इसकी वजह से आप एक्सटर्नल का यूज करोगे आपको एक ही बार स्टाइल्स लिखनी है और वो सारे वेब पेज में अप्लाई हो जाएगी. Okay, so this is the way how can you include your CSS in your HTML file. Remember, the most successful CSS is the external CSS. It is not give you a mistake. If there is a mistake, it will be show you the output directly. बट इंटरनल और इनलाइन जब आप यूज करोगे उस टाइम पे आप कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे कि कहाँ पे मैंने गलत लिखा हुआ है. एक्सटर्नल में क्यों मिस्टेक नहीं होगी क्योंकि आपने पूरी स्टाइल शीट ही उसकी अलग बनाई है. राइट नाउ एनीवन हैव अ क्वेरी रिगार्डिंग दिस CSS internal, external and inline? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Do the practical for it. It's not practical given in the textbook. Try yourself for the practical. You can take the same practical. I will be share the practical in the WhatsApp group also.